I'm out of Twitter. I'm off Twitter. I'll never twit again.
Oh, really?
I'm done. No, did you see the what happened? The spike in the use of racial slurs, most particularly the N-word, 500% up
Oh yeah,
when he took over.
they figured.
Yeah, but you saw what
Bitches
happened
without.
after that. After that, he said, well, we're not really going to change moderation policies right now. And I don't know whether they kicked any of those people off or what they did about it, but apparently, he's in a bit of a quandary because he made all of this noise about how he was going to have this great free speech thing going, but he's going to lose all of his advertisers.
Yeah, that's who's being lobbied to get out of Elon's business because they are going to look bad if they stick around and it becomes the hellscape that people are thinking it's going to be.
Plutopia is not ready for cable news. Players are back for another freeform fiesta of facts and fictions. Jon, Suzy, and Scoop discuss voting, Austin politics, Twitter, politics on TikTok, cannabis politics, Trump in 2024, and other nightmares on this episode of the Plutopia News Network podcast.
Hey, what's going on? I'm trying to see whether our video feed is working.
I trust that it is.
Facebook, it looks like it is.
Facebook would never screw up anything.
No.
Oh, well.
I trust the Zuck.
I'm in it now. I see it happening.
You're zucked up.
I see myself there drinking Dr. Pepper.
Yeah, I'm drinking Dr. Somebody. It's Dr. Grape. Gilbert Grape, perhaps.
I went to the doctor.
I've been to many
Dr.
doctors
Pepper?
lately.
Did you go to Dr. Pepper?
No, I went to Dr. Gary Wyrd, who I love very much, and he told me that I have anemia. So
anemia,
that's a thing. Yeah,
and you should take
I'm on blood
Geritol.
thinners. Yes, actually, I think I'm going to. I know, and I don't even know if they sell that anymore.
Well, you need to
Probably
go
not.
and eat some rusty nails. That's a high source of iron.
It's always been a problem for me. Rusty iron. That's nice. I like that. No, it's always been a problem. The anemia has always been a problem for me, but I didn't know it was back. And here we are. Yay.
Yeah, Geritol still exists. Iron deficiency anemia is what you have.
Great. Well, I don't know if it's iron deficiency. It's just anemia. They're looking to see if I have a bleed internally because I'm on blood thinners. So they have to go in and see if there's anything going on. But
oh no,
it's not like severe. I mean, when I've had it before, it's been severe. I haven't been able to sit up and talk, and it's not like that right now. So I think I'm fine.
So when you say they're going to go in and check, are they going to like cut you open and look around?
No, they're going to do the first one is going to be the colonoscopy to see if there's a bleed. That's just likely. That would be most likely. And then
now that's something to look forward to.
Oh, I'm super looking forward to it. And
colonoscopies are lots of fun.
Yeah, they're not going to cut you open, but they are going to look around.
I may take you on my journey to Plutopia.
Yeah,
with my GoPro.
We'll do a live broadcast. I have the gear to do it.
I have my GoPro.
Yeah, back in my days in medical IT, I didn't do colonoscopy, but I streamed a couple of procedures.
Very nice. Well,
family
speaking
friendly.
of the family friendly kind, the colonoscopy, it was a lot like that going to vote today.
Now, where did you vote?
I'm glad you brought voting into it.
I'm going to avoid that district.
I voted in a district where there were at least two Republicans voting for Abbott. So, wherever that is.
That's to make you feel superior because you were obviously the smartest person in the room.
So there were Republicans. Well, first of all, when you showed up at the poll, were there any Proud Boys there?
No, and honestly, I don't expect there to be in Austin, but it wouldn't surprise me if there were some in some smaller towns, you know.
Yes, I'm going to have my cameras ready when I go to vote, and we won't mention the smaller town, but
Yeah, I'm thinking like Beaumont, you know,
oh yeah,
and
yeah, I'm
that
going to go
sort.
to Beaumont.
Well,
Yeah,
I
of
got
course,
to thinking about this, and I was just wondering if they were going to hold off the harassment until the actual voting day.
Mm.
Yeah, in other words, it's a lot of
they've
time and effort to go every day to the early voting locations and to staff all of those. But
and
on voting day, if you, especially if you want to do it to be performative, you know, if you're just doing it to kind of attract attention, then that would be the time to do it.
Well, I hate to throw in some good news, good for some
Oh,
of us.
no,
Dan
no,
oh,
no.
what?
Dan Patrick is underwhelmed by the Republican turnout in West Texas, rural West Texas.
I
John
like
and
the
I could
sound of
identify
that.
with that particular neighborhood.
Well, I mean, yeah, I can imagine that West Texas boys don't want any Dan Patrick telling them where to pee.
Yeah, he was on a conservative talk show in Lubbock the other day, and he said Lubbock's been better, but Abilene, Wichita Falls, all points in between, it's been lighter than we'd like to see. So we just need to get people to the polls. Lighter than we'd like to see. It's usually what I'm thinking about. There's way too many white folks in that line. It's going to be a bad turnout.
Well,
Anyway,
That's
there's a problem, which is that in Austin, which is very blue, and where we need
mhm.
to get our people out, we've only got like what 18% turnout so far.
Okay, but let me ask you, do we know if it's Democrats or Republicans?
I don't think so.
Okay,
So
so
you see things where they talk about it looks bad for Democrats because they're not turning people out. They don't really, I mean, they can't really tell specifically whether it's Democrats or Republicans that's voting, but they know, for instance, that Austin is very blue and that most of the people who vote in Austin are Democrats. So if
mhm.
people in Austin are not voting, but the people in Williamson County are voting, where, you know, it's pretty red, then, you know, overall, it looks like the Republicans are getting out the vote, the Democrats are not. And that's by location.
yeah, well, my evil spirit animal, Donald Trump, urged Texas voters um, in his Trump rally the last month, I guess it was, that they should wait and only vote on election day. And you've got all those elderly Republicans out there standing in a line in places like Houston and Dallas, which could get
Just
really long and uncomfortable.
exactly. And they're really shooting them. This is backfiring on them with the don't hand out water and food and don't help the dying in the street who, if you're trying to vote, you know, or we'll arrest you.
Yeah,
I
Trump
mean,
loves to give those kind of
so
suggestions.
I think I mean, hey, you know, this is just another assault on democracy.
Yeah,
Is to,
Trump said it's harder to cheat if you do it that way, meaning voting on election day. I don't know where he got his statistics, but he's not real good on content.
Oh, he said he said, well, you know, it doesn't look too good for Pelosi. He apparently they were drinking. He's got a real problem drinking. The glass was broken from the outside, from the inside out. And I'm like, you think they're that do you think Nancy Pelosi is that stupid that she would stage something like this and do that? Break the glass the wrong way?
Well, there is the fact that everything he said was a lie, right? I mean, the glass
Well,
was not broken from the inside out.
no, but that's the point. I mean, but why would you latch on to something like that? Why, what makes you think that people are just going to go, oh, is that how it happened? And no one
Yeah,
else is,
well,
only Trump is saying that.
actually, they do. I mean,
It could be.
They will believe it if you say it, if you're the right person or the wrong person.
It's possible. It's not a certainty, but it's possible that Donald Trump is not very smart.
Oh, really? No, no.
What?
No,
Oh, that's
and
like
that he
saying
does
he doesn't
things
have any
that are,
money.
well, yeah,
he ran a
It
university. Why would he not be? No, well, never mind. I forgot. Trump University isn't with us any longer.
No, it went the way of the Trump steak. So
One of my favorites.
I will out myself on who I voted for locally anyway.
hmm
Mayor, I will say mayor. I will tell you who I voted for mayor, and that was Celia.
I did not get to vote for mayor.
I'm so excited. I hope she gets it. I love Kirk Watson back in the day, but enough with the old white guys, no offense, but it's just like, let's get something else in there.
Well, Kirk is a good guy. He wouldn't be the worst.
I love Kirk.
If I had been voting, I would have voted for Celia too.
And I would, if she had not run, I would have voted for him, because I mean, he's old Austin. The only thing that was really upsetting about the whole thing is like everyone who is running is real estate people. It's like
guys like me. I wouldn't vote for me.
Well, it used to be that the city council was like business guys and real estate guys for a long time. And then it was like people from NIMBY people from West Austin. You know what NIMBY means?
Not
in my backyard.
Yeah, exactly. So more recently, they came up with this 10-1 thing where there would be like 10 districts and each would vote for its own local representative. Before, a bunch of people would run and then a bunch of people would vote. And it didn't matter whether you were running from a particular district or not. And what happened then was that everybody who ran and got elected was from West Austin. And the city was run from West Austin. And I was actually involved a little bit in this 10-1 thing and advocating for it. And especially working with Mike Levy, who was advocating for it in a big way. I'm not sure what all of his motives were, but it seemed like a more reasonable way to build a city council. But it certainly has been, I mean, we've had a lot of controversy since then. We had a lot of controversy before then. I don't think there's a good way to do government.
I think that we should have gotten Leslie in the city council when we had a chance to. Do you remember when Leslie would run? Did you never see?
Just a minute now.
He would get
bring up the campaign poster.
Yes, yes.
That always got my attention.
I loved it, man. And he would go and address them. I bet he knows Roger Baker. I should ask Roger about that. Oh man.
I found something interesting in the news today that suddenly the tech bros are being shamed in public to start contributing to the housing, to fixing the housing crisis they've actually created. And that the fund, I was trying to look for the name of the fund that they have created to create housing for affordable housing for people who are housing challenged.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, people started outing all these companies. Why haven't you contributed? You caused the problem with all of your moving in here and making the cost of living in Austin go through the roof. And a lot of them finally are, kicking in some money, just out of being shamed, which I think is good. There's some kind of shaming and I'm in favor of.
Me too.
The Elons in the neighborhood need to be kicking in way more. I mean, him especially. Actually, he
That
needs,
I'm out of
kick
Twitter.
out.
I'm off Twitter. I'll never twit again.
Oh, really?
I'm done. No, did you see the what happened? The spike in the use of racial slurs, most particularly the N-word, 500% up
Oh yeah,
when he took over.
they figured
Yeah, but you saw what
bitches
happened
without
after
'em.
that. After that, he said, well, we're not really going to change moderation policies right now. And I don't know whether they kicked any of those people off or what they did about it, but apparently, he's in a bit of a quandary because he made all this
Yeah.
noise about how he was going to have this great free speech thing going, but he's going to lose all of his advertisers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
And
who's
so
being lobbied to get out of Elon's business, because they are going to look bad if they stick around and it becomes the hellscape that people are thinking it's going to be.
And he wants to charge people.
Yeah, $8 so you can give me.
Nah, well,
And I love that business negotiation.
he's talking about charging for the blue check verification check. And
Which
in
is
order to get
important.
that check, you have to pass, you have to give them data to support the idea that you're a notable person. So only those people who can pass that test are going to be charged. It's not like regular rank and file users would be getting charged. But then, if you're a regular user and you don't have a blue check mark, what good are you? Right?
Well, there are young activists and stuff who don't have a lot of money, who have a check mark, who usually are trying to raise money for stuff. But
yeah.
But yeah, he's gonna do other things too. I just think, like you said, the hellscape. I just got out before.
I don't believe any of that. I don't believe that he's going to do half of what people think he's going to do. And
because he can't, or because he decides he doesn't want to, or because he actually can't.
Well, I mean, define can't. I mean,
is it because he's got morals, or is it because he's okay? Then that's.
He's probably got morals of a kind. The thing is, it's really hard to get it. I mean, his head and his perspective are going to be so weird from the kind of life that he's had and the kind of money that he has and so forth. I mean, just kind of the position he's in. I have no reference for that. I mean, I can't pretend to understand how this guy's head is working. But one thing I know is that when you get down to the nuts and bolts of it, first of all, he didn't manage to come up with $44 billion without getting help from people, right? Those people don't want to lose their money. There was one guy who apparently knows Elon and knows Jack. And there's a whole thing about how Jack's doing his blue sky thing, and he and Elon are friends. And what they really want to do is change the world order by changing Twitter, which is stupid because, Twitter is not as big a deal as people think it is.
Wow, what a fucking ego.
But this guy was writing, he said, well, they didn't mind. Elon doesn't mind putting $44 billion into something and just losing it because he doesn't believe that fiat currency is going to survive anyway. And it's like, what? I mean, I don't think that's true. I don't think that. I think Elon is going to be. I mean, this guy's in a world of hurt because
I
been
agree.
Damaging himself by the remarks that he's making. He's made an investment that is damaging to him. Really, he's liable to lose money. He's getting into something that's way more complicated than he really let himself realize, apparently. And he's been promising people that it's going to be this sort of free speech haven, which is a complete misunderstanding of what the product is at Twitter. The product at Twitter is moderation. And if you say you're going to do away with moderation,
Johnny's going to fire all the moderators. So how do you moderate if you
Yeah,
lay off
he's going to do
the
everything.
moderator.
That's my point. I mean, he's
he's the
taking the
dictator.
product and ditching it, I mean, just
Wow.
letting everybody and his uncle's brother post whatever the hell they want to in a space that is not. I mean, I assume there'll still be algorithmic curation, but who knows? He might want to do away with that too. But the thing is that if you're just going to kind of let everybody come in and post anything and everything that they want to, and not have any moderation, not have any controls, not have any rules, just go for it. I mean, that may sound like a libertarian's dream, but a libertarian's dream is a normal person's nightmare,
That's
And in
like
fact,
early Reddit days, right?
the only reason that libertarians believe half of what they do is because nobody will ever do what they want to do. If they ever did what they want to do, they'd find out it's a horrible idea, but you never can get anybody to do it because it's a horrible idea.
But the whole thing of everybody gets to post anything and everything, that was actually the dream back in early 2000s when we were on a different kind of an internet, and everybody pretty much did say and post.
Yeah.
And do it's just
Like,
that the eyes were there were less eyes on what was going on. It was not a big thing. It was big enough.
Yeah. There
But
was one I
we were
used to
all
get
saying,
on.
yeah, let's free speech. Let's just do anything. And we
Metafilter was
did
my first
anything.
introduction.
Oh, really? Yeah, I know that.
Yeah, and then
I know those
and then
people. I know
yeah,
Matt.
they were cool. They were awesome. I loved it. And then Reddit. And Reddit was doing the whole thing too, where they were just like, say what you want. You could be totally anonymous. And now you can't set up an account like that anymore. So
Well,
it just
so
seems right. You're right. It seems like he can't do what he's telling everybody. It's a failed bill of goods.
Yeah.
well, in the
Well,
early days of the internet, the people who were involved were coming from like R&D networks and academic institutions and so forth. And they were fairly well educated, fairly civil and liberal people who were probably a bit naive too. And yeah, they were saying free speech, that's a great thing, because they weren't having to listen to QAnon. I mean, they were too smart. Most of the people who were online were not going to start spreading conspiracy theories or whatever. And when they did, a lot of it was ironic. It's like Bob Dobbs, the Church of the Subgenius.
Well,
Yeah, Go ahead, Scoop.
the elephant in the room on social media is TikTok. That's where a lot of Democratic candidates are going because they really want the young voters. Republicans don't want young voters because young voters have not really been drawn to a lot of there are some, but the mass of young voters are on TikTok doing things that Republicans would not want to be involved with. But there are a number of Democratic candidates that are out there doing that. Say what?
I started watching TikTok because you brought it up, and I didn't realize this sound was going to be on. But what I'm seeing is an image of a guy dumping a bunch of apparently crawfish into no, is that frogs? Maybe they're frogs. A bag of frogs. Is this the sort of thing they do on here?
Oh, there's all sorts of stuff.
They do all kinds of stupid shit on
politics is kind of the new kid on the block on TikTok. But they're candidates that are speaking properly to this young audience are getting a lot of movement there. And
it really
the Republicans
is
are staying away because it's not their people.
Well, remember, if you remember, it occurred to me just now. They're the ones, TikTok. They're like a little advocacy group, facilitator, maybe is what I want to say. Like they bought all those tickets to the Oklahoma or whatever that MAGA thing was, and he said it was going to be sold out, 1 million people. They had to build that outside stage. It was Oklahoma, and then nobody came because all of those kids on TikTok, and that was BTS, the South Korean pop band who did that. Their fans did it. And it's like, I mean, my God, they just the snap of their fingers, these guys can tell these people what to do. And look what they did to him. They embarrassed him.
Well, the other social media that they had an interesting thing on KXAN today about WhatsApp is the social media of choice in the Hispanic community. And that is very widespread there, especially if you go into Mexico, Central America, South America, you'll see WhatsApp everywhere because that's the way. And they apparently understand communicating in Spanish. That's the problem with, Facebook and Twitter, is they really don't have a good grasp on, moderating Spanish language or any other language. Basically, they're okay on English, sort of, but they have no clue on how to moderate a Spanish posting.
Right.
You guys have lost me now because I am totally lost in TikTok.
I know, right? It's mesmerizing. That's kind of the thing.
Oh my Lord.
Watch out for the skanky teens that get you in trouble right there.
The what now?
There's a lot of skank going on there.
I don't see any skank yet.
Oh, you don't want to go there.
Stay away. Stay away. Oh, speaking of voting, here's my voting sticker. It is on. I voted early in Austin, Texas, and this is the first sticker of my new blue ukulele.
Can you play us?
Oh, cool. You got the ukulele.
Play us a voting song.
I've never played one before, but I play the guitar. So I know some, I'm not sure this is in tune right now. I just got it. So
see if you can play Inagata de Vida.
Okay,
I'll do the drum solo.
Hold on. I can do this one. This is one of my all-time favorites. Oh Lord, won't you buy me a Mercedes Benz? I don't have to play it all on that one, but I did.
You haven't played any yet. You played the ukulele.
I actually have never played it before. I'm not entirely sure this is in tune. This is the first time I ever have played one. This is a C chord. This is an A. I think it's a little out of tune. And this is a D. And I've got a couple. I mean, it's pretty easy going from a guitar to a ukulele. It really is. They're strung complete. I didn't realize how differently they were strung. I always just thought that it was like the top 4 of the guitar strings out of the 6 and then tuned up a little bit, but it is that, but it's a little, it's weird. It's different. If you do music, like you expect it to go low, 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 like that. And it doesn't do that.
Maybe I'll find you on TikTok here doing, playing your ukulele.
Maybe that doesn't work out. Yeah. I will,
an interesting thing here. No, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, yeah, I'm definitely gonna shred the uke up on some TikToks. Yo.
Yo.
I was just trying to keep it on the DL for the KIDS. I don't know how they talk.
Well, I'd always heard that that it was that they only showed like really attractive people or whatever, but I'm seeing all kinds of people actually, on here.
Oh no,
everybody does it. And then Claudia Conway even had a thing where she was like just outing her parents, like recording her mom doing shit and then posting it on TikTok.
Yeah, well, the body image people are really present out there. Just like, stop looking at all the models. We're beautiful too. And some of the productions are just amazing. It's like, damn, girl.
There's a lot of creativity on there. And it is that younger generation that really has that, it's a creative drive that's really not necessarily useful, but fun. And this is becoming useful, which is fascinating. I mean, the Democrats are right to jump on that.
Absolutely. Because I can't see the Republicans getting any traction because, we want you to, be mean to all those trans kids and don't smoke that marijuana thing. And go to church every day. It's, oh, okay, Junior. I'll get back to you on
You
that.
know, there was I get my my pharmaceutical drugs delivered to me, and this woman came by yesterday and we started talking, and she I said, hey, do you know where to early vote around here? And so we started talking about voting, and she said, I'm a Republican. And I said, oh, okay. And she said, and I'll tell you, I always tell people this, and I'm like, wow, I didn't ask anything about it, but I guess you feel weird. I don't know why she felt like she needed to tell me this, but she said, and I'll tell you why. It's because I'm tired of the same thing all the time. And I'm tired of what the Democrats are doing to Social Security and Medicare and Medicaid. And they just want to take everyone's Social Security away. And I was like,
they've been listening to the lies.
I said, what are you talking about? I said, that's the Democrats are trying to save that. Actually, they're trying to gut, the Republicans are trying to gut. And she was like, oh, I don't think so.
Yeah, well, the Republicans want to gut something that is, in my interest. Well, not so much my interest, but my wife's interest. She relies on home health visits. And they want to cut that back. They want to send them, let's send them all off to those inpatient rehab facilities where they managed to turn into Auschwitz death camps, basically, during COVID. You did not want to go. But doctors are really in favor of that. I mean, when I checked Clarissa out of Del Seaton after she had her leg amputated, they said, well, you've got to send her to one of these. That was the height of, the second COVID surge. And I'm like, no. I mean, she already had one brush with death, and you want to send her into one of these places where they have all sorts of infections breaking out. I'm going to take her to a place where there's nobody coming in except for a home health nurse that we trust. And it's like, the doctors hate that. Yeah. And the reason they hate that is a lot of the doctors have investments in rehab facilities because they're so damn profitable. And the Republicans
my mom
love that kind of thing. Yeah, let's cut out all that home healthy stuff. Let's, prop up our doctor buddies who are sending us big checks.
My mom was just in one of those when she broke her ankle.
Yeah.
And Medicare paid for all of it.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, it's like
Medicare pays for all the home health too.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying that, they have it to want to be, I'm just thinking of that woman who's saying that, the Republicans are trying to take away the Social Security and the Medicare. And I'm like, how do you get so misinformed that you completely have it backwards?
Well,
how does that happen?
They listen to our buddy Alex and Tucker Carlson and all those idiots. He's like, yeah, the Democrats are trying to kill Medicare. He said, no, they're not. You are.
I mean, it's just that's like one of the biggest differences.
I don't think I've ever heard the Republicans accuse the Democrats of that. So I'm surprised to hear it.
I was too. I think there are, and she's in a, she said she was 56, I think, because I asked her. She's she was Latina. She was not a white woman. And she, was wanted to tell me that she was a Republican. I don't know why she felt like she needed to tell me that. That was interesting. I don't know where that came from. But her reasoning was also like it came like this, like, I have to tell you why. I have to justify myself.
Well, it's kind of interesting. I mean, imagine how difficult it would be. I mean, part of the reason people can remain Republicans now is because they don't have any idea what's actually happening anywhere, because they're just watching Fox News or one of the Fox News clones, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if they just accidentally started hearing some of the truth that other news organizations are reporting, then I would think that they would have a really hard time how do you reconcile support for a party that, for instance, thinks it's a joke when an 82-year-old man gets banged in the head with a hammer? They laugh. I mean, I guess you could say that's slapstick comedy. It wasn't
They
really
just don't have
slapstick comedy.
any.
Somebody nearly got
No.
killed.
Yeah,
but
not
the
and not
name
just
was,
somebody.
yeah, the name was Pelosi, so you're allowed to be politically incorrect if it has anything to do with the Pelosi family. If you said that about the Trump family, oh no, God, you can't say that about somebody
Yeah,
attacking
what if
poor
this had happened to the
Donald Trump
Trump?
Jr. God forbid.
Oh, I just and then all of these, from what I understand, the guy is Canadian, right? But
Yeah, they're
he's
going to deport
40,
him, I think.
but he's 42, okay, and he's lived here for 22 years. So I think that he's probably equally American as he is Canadian at this point, having spent both 20 years in both places.
Yeah.
I just realized it's a conspiracy. Ted Cruz is from Canada, and so is this guy.
Yep. Well, this guy lived in
I
Berkeley,
knew it.
which amazes me, but not really, because that probably explains why he didn't get outed for his immigration violations, because
Yep.
in Berkeley, that's kind of a no-no. I mean, you don't go ratting on somebody just because they're illegal.
For
But
sure, yeah.
he's definitely not the kind of person I remember from Berkeley. Although he
Well,
was a nudism activist. I met a few of
he's
those.
an alt-right.
God, they were the
insane
people you
person.
didn't want to go nude.
He looks a little
They're the
too
ones
much
who
like
always do
T.J. Miller, don't you think?
Yeah. Yeah. The people who want to go naked are always the people you go, please take this
What
t-shirt. I'll give
is
you my shorts. Put them
that?
on.
It's seriously, I feel the same way about that. But I mean, more power to them with their body positivity. I just and it's not that it's more like it's all about my shame anyway. So
They don't want to wear clothes.
I'm shaming him, but
Have you ever been to a nudist ranch?
absolutely not.
They like to play volleyball a lot.
I bet they like to play a lot of kind of ball.
we have one here. We have one here in Bastrop County, and
I know, I've been to that one. That's the one I went to. The one in McDade. Is that what you're talking about? Yeah.
Oh Lord.
Funny.
Yeah, it was really a funny thing. We had friends who were kind of part of that thing and invited us out, and it was amusing.
What part was amusing?
All of them.
Well, it's so strange. One thing about it is that it's like, I mean, there's nothing like sexual about it, really. You just got people are walking around naked, but it almost undoes any kind of sexuality thing, you don't really feel. I mean,
yeah,
it just feels like you're with a bunch of people. Eventually pretty quickly you get over even noticing that people are nude.
Yeah. Well, it's like when marijuana first became a big fad among our generation. It was really a big thing, but now in California, it's like you see the mayor smoking weed or something.
Mm-hmm.
It's no big deal. We're bored with it. We're not turned on by marijuana. Well, whatever turns you off.
That'll never happen here.
Not in my house.
Well,
unless Abbott gets thrown out.
Sid Miller is an advocate for commercial marijuana in Texas.
Yeah, only if it's the non getting you high type.
No, he's an advocate for legal cannabis.
Oh, good for him. His guy that got arrested for fraud was selling hemp licenses for $100,000 when you could get them for $100 if you went to see Sid.
Oh, that's funny.
He has
That's
interesting
crazy.
staff. I thought that was hilarious. That's all these people. We're going to cash in on the hippies. We're going to get a pot farm.
Funny. Oh man. Well, I think it's I wonder what the numbers are, now that people have decriminalized and, well, not just decriminalized, but made legal and are instituting, places to sell it recreationally. I wonder what their profits will be and what they do with those tax dollars.
Well, the profits are big.
Mm-hmm. But
it's
I'm just
very
wondering,
interesting,
from state to state, because they're just now, I know Colorado did really well.
I think New Mexico is just kind of getting started with it, but I think they'll do pretty well. We were just in New Mexico a couple of weeks ago for a week or so, and there were dispensaries all over the place. And the last time we went, they didn't have any dispensaries because they were still working out the logistics for implementing everything. So just in a year, these things had sprung up everywhere.
Yeah, the red tape is what has really retarded the growth of the industry, because they had so many, things you needed to do to run a business, like accept credit cards. You couldn't do that for a long time because the credit card
the feds
would not do business.
Well, they don't accept credit cards in New Mexico.
Well, it's the feds, the federal banking. You couldn't do any federal banking either with the businesses. So that you'd have to do all local banks. And
yeah, but you could do a PayPal or whatever, I'm sure, and that sort of uses your credit card anyway.
Yeah. Well, they were accepting debit cards, but not credit cards. And it had something to do with those legal constraints. Not that I would like go in and buy any of that stuff. But.
Oh my God, no, not when you can buy it here.
But the whole problem that California is having is all the cartel grow farms where they're having slave labor. Basically, they have people being illegals being smuggled in, promised jobs, and they're put on a grow operation out in the middle of nowhere, and they're not being paid or given much of anything to live off of. They're just basically slave labor growing pot. And that's a big problem, especially in Southern California.
Just how do you just fuck up the best thing that the earth has to offer? I don't understand that.
You get business involved when it becomes a business operation.
I feel like they're going to do what they did with tobacco and start spraying it with stuff and adding stuff to it that makes it addictive, where it's not that's not what you're addicted to. It's all the shit they're putting in it and on it.
Yeah. Well, back in the day when I was living in the Bay Area, and I had friends at KSAN Radio who were doing regular reports on marijuana quality. That's back when they were spraying marijuana with paraquat, and that was supposedly that was basically like Agent Orange to kill off the crops, but it was not something you wanted to have going into your lungs. And they had some great scientists at I think at Stanford and UC Berkeley, UC San Francisco, the medical groups that were actually getting together and doing testing of the available marijuana to give people at least some comfort in the fact that is it widespread or is it not? And for a while it was really widespread, but with the testing, the people that were bringing in the basically substandard pot because it had been sprayed with paraquat, you could still smoke it and get high, but you could also get dead from all the chemicals in it.
Man.
But
that's probably getting dead and getting high are probably similar.
You think? Really?
Yeah.
How long has it been since you've gotten high? Dude.
Well, that means I'm dead, so you can do my memorial now.
Yeah, I've been dead a while.
But anyway, I'm wearing my favorite T-shirt here from my friend Paul Mavridi.
Speaking of death, yeah,
Republicans, we love
that.
them.
Should be their new flag.
Yeah. Well, it's a good T-shirt anyway.
So, do you think? All right, well, I think that this election is going to do this. Is if we lose, if we do not win the Senate and we lose the House, or vice versa, then I think that's it, the end, because Biden won't be able to get anything done, and we'll just be waiting for, also they'll be able to shut down the investigation to January 6th, which they will do. And
Well, not only that, but they'll start investigating the Biden administration.
Yep. And they'll start
And they'll start working on their impeachment. They made it clear that they were going to impeach Biden.
I think if we don't, I'm scared. Honestly, quite frankly, I think I do think that we're gonna lose.
Well, if that happens, there's another scenario that could come into play. People
Okay.
become so outraged because you could see those people, they have no limits on how far they want to go with all of this. Let's get the libs. And when it gets to a certain point, even fairly conservative folks are going, no, that's just not what we had in mind, getting to be more like Russia than Russia. I mean, that is kind of where they want to head. But I can see people. I remember when we went into the Reagan years, and that was pretty scary. But it also motivated a lot of people to really start organizing and getting together and, getting rid of Reagan. It took, it took him just, expiring his 2 terms, but still, by the time he was done, the country was done with it. They didn't want to have any more of that administration. And I think there's only so much Trump that you can consume before you get sick.
Well,
I think that he will, if they get in, if he's a nominee and let's just say he gets the presidency again, I think that he will do some Xi Ping shit and say, I'm president for the rest of my life. And they'll allow it. That I think is where we're headed if we don't win these midterms.
I don't think you need to worry too much about that. For one thing, I don't think that he's going to get the nomination again.
Yeah, there's a lot of Republicans against that whole idea.
Yeah, I mean, there's really not a huge amount of support for him to get the nomination.
Yeah, particularly the money.
Well, he's going to run as an independent.
He can run as an independent, but I don't think he can win.
Yeah, him and Ralph Nader could hang out.
Who do we have who's going to run, though? We can't run Biden again. My God.
Maybe Biden intends to run again, I'm pretty sure.
No.
Well, I want to run Ross Perot again. That's a I just like that voice. I'm Ross Perot. Vote for me. I hate everybody.
It could be that the Republican Party is just going to dry up and blow away at some point, and the 2 parties will be the Democratic Party and the Forward Party. You heard it here first. Andrew Yang has started this thing called the Forward Party, and there's people who are pretty enthusiastic about that. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know where the Republicans would go. I certainly don't know where the Trumpists would go. I mean, essentially, the Republican Party is the people who are not Trumpists have mostly left. And then there's people who they're Republicans and they vote Republican, but they don't really think about politics all the time, which is the real sickness. I mean, the thing that bothers me that everybody's so wrapped up in this stuff all day, every day. There's more to life than politics.
Not right now. Not if you're a woman.
Well, no. I mean, I kind of get the point there, but
not if you're gay. They're coming. I mean, the Clarence Thomas in his decision, taking, a Roe v. Wade, overturning Roe v. Wade, specifically said he wanted to look at Lawrence and the Obergefell that would allow gay marriage, and the other allows gay sex.
Well, I mean, he can look at him all he wants to, but he's just one guy on the Supreme Court.
Yeah,
He's not.
Yeah, I'm waiting for that
you think it's just one
interracial
guy?
marriage and see how he stands on that.
Well, and that's just the thing. I mean, that's exactly right. But it is a very real, I mean, I know I don't know how to explain it, and I'm not trying to, you know, it's one thing when it happens to someone else and you're like, oh man, no, that sucks. But no, let's speak. But when it's happened to you, when your right has been taken away, when your autonomy over your body has been taken away, there is nothing I want people paying attention to other than what the fuck is going on in this country right now.
Well, that's a good point.
Well, I think having a party crop up that splits conservative voters is a good thing.
I do
Because
too.
you know, that's happened, you know, in various elections where, you know, somebody comes up, you know, and sometimes it's, you know, someone's trying to come up with a progressive third party. And well, the Green Party was kind of sketchy on that. They were hanging out with Putin. It's like, no. You
And what
are
was
not
that
the
woman's
progressive
name?
party we wanted.
Who was that woman who ran progressive and she was friends with Putin? What was her name? Jill Stein?
Yeah.
She was
It's
Green
Green
Party,
Party. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was very sketchy there. And you know, I could see how you know Republicans and conservatives would be pissed off if someone created something similar to that. But yeah, I'd also like to see somebody do it to them.
It's time. It's time for them to have a reckoning, and they seem to really be trying to sidestep it.
Yeah, welcome to the world
to
of
the
dirty
point where
pools.
they're just yeah. What a shame. What a shame. I really, I'm pretty sure this is going to be, we'll know at the end of November what our future has a good shot at looking like, I think.
Well,
Yeah.
I have friends who are already in the process of leaving the country. And
do it if I could.
Yeah, I know some people who've been there for a long time. You know, they left in the 80s and didn't come back, and that's kind of a rough thing to have to do. But I keep seeing more and more people saying, you know, this country's over. I need to go someplace where they're not trying to, you know, kill people that disagree with them.
If I didn't have responsibilities here, I would have left when he got elected. I wouldn't have come back. I did that when I was younger. For 3 years I went and lived in another country, and I know that it's, you know, I know how to do it. And I think at some point we're going to be considered refugees if you're gay, if you're a woman, possibly if you're Black, and definitely if you're trans. You know, I mean, these are going to become, they're taking away the affirmative action, which, you know, there's with the, I just think that it's the hate speech is going to go away, all restrictions for that. And that ties into that Twitter thing. And pretty soon it's just going to be, do what you want, say what you want, water the lawn with Gatorade, you know, just all out insanity. And you better have a gun and hide. Because I really see these people going full on crazy, you know. I mean, the insurrection was nothing compared to what I think they can do.
Yeah, my expatriate friends have great advice to anyone considering it. It's basically do your homework, because just because it's a groovy country that you've heard about and, you know, read a little about, you need to understand how they look at people like you, whatever you're, you know, if you're gay, if you're a person of color, you know, if you're disabled, anything. Certain countries, just because they're in Europe doesn't mean they're a real progressive place. You know, they might like some people, but they may not like you. So you have to do.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, what's interesting though is as we regress, other countries progress. Like at an amazing rate. For example, Mexico had gay marriage before we did, and they still have abortion, and they're very, very Catholic. Ireland is one of the most Catholic places I can think of, other than the Vatican, and they have abortion. You know, these other places have just keep moving forward, and for some reason we're going back the other way. So I think I could easily be a refugee from this country as a gay person and go to Mexico and be a refugee, if it comes to that, is because they accept gay people there. And then the United States is, I think, a country that is moving towards a Christian nationalism, and I'm definitely going to be, on one of those receiving ends of their hatred, or my group.
This has been happening for a long time. I mean, this is really just like, so we fought the Civil War over these same issues, and it never really was over. And those people who like formed the Confederacy, those people with that kind of thinking, that ideology, they've been there all along, and they're kind of popping up in a big way now. And it's a weird thing. I mean, they seem to be so detached from reality.
Yeah, they claim to be patriots, but they're also traitors, because they want to overthrow the form of government that we've had, from all the things that they say.
Yeah, do they not get
How are you a
that?
patriot?
I mean, how is that? How do they not get that? And I heard another
They get it. They get it. They totally get it. They don't mind. They want to overthrow the government. They don't want a democracy. They don't carry the same kinds of assumptions that a lot of us do. They don't think that there should be give and take between two political parties. They think that everything should be run one way by people who think the way they do. Or, they may be making assumptions about the extent to which their thinking is aligned.
Well, I want that too. So now what?
Well, then you just got to defeat them and let your party be the party.
Cry louder and cheat harder.
Yeah, there's a lot of those folks that they don't want a government at all. I mean, these are your off the grid, get out of my neighborhood because I'm a sovereign citizen. Those are the folks that just scare the shit out of me, because they don't have an allegiance to anything other than themselves.
They don't understand. The sovereign citizens are the stupidest group of people. They're just morons. They're absolute morons. The ones who form militias scare me. Absolutely. And I'm trying to think, the Proud Boys, don't they have their own militia or multiple militias?
Yeah, well, they are a militia, basically.
Yeah. I mean, they're a bunch of guys who kind of don't live around people very much.
Yeah. An interesting thing of those groups, the Oath Keepers backed away from supporting the people who were staking out voting, polling places, armed and in flak jackets, and that got a lot of bad press. Some of the Oath Keeper folks said, "We're not part of that." That's really crazy, because that's just asking for trouble.
Did you hear what the judge said? You have to stay 250 feet away from the ballot box. That's it? I thought this was illegal to do. You can't do that. It's illegal.
Yeah, well, that's basically how the law is written. It's that way here in Texas. You can't be lobbying for a candidate within a certain number of feet of a polling place. You can put out your signs just at the entrance to it, but you have to be a certain number of feet away.
I mean, one of do they think they're going to do? Just like look over my shoulder while I'm voting and say, you better press the other one. We wouldn't want something to happen to you or something.
I've wondered about that. I don't know that there's much they can do.
I mean, what are they going to do? Are they going to ask to look at my ticket to see how I voted?
There's the whole thing of terroristic threats. If they do more than just glare at you and they start making threats, then that is actually a crime. A terroristic threat. Yeah, I'm going to kill you if you vote for Biden. I mean, you can't do that.
Yeah, I'm not clear what's permitted and what's not right now. Next week we can talk about this some more because we'll be just past the election, I think, right?
We could help everyone fill out their immigration forms.
Yeah, if we haven't all fled, we'll see y'all next week.
I'm going to be opening up a travel agency.
Well, I expect to mostly complain when we meet next week.
Yeah, let's complain.
Me too.
Yeah, I know. I mean, complaining is... No.
We got to fight for the right.
What we got left, right?
It was good
all right.
to see y'all.
It was great to see you too. Bye-bye.
I'm going to go bake a potato.
Off we go.
You can follow the Plutopia News Network at plutopia.io. On Facebook, go to @Plutopia News. On Twitter, it's @Plutopia. This is the Plutopia News Network, 20 minutes into the future.